Okay, so did we ever find Lion? Wasn't the whole reason Steven stayed behind at the barn was to go back via Lion, and he's just disappeared?
That's kind of true now that I think about it. I never realized that.
And just early on in this episode, when he gets back to Beach City, I'm like, oh, this is so nice, he's so happy to be home. Where's Lion?
Well, to be fair, Lion isn't there half the time anyway.
True. I mean, Nia's a cat, they do kind of do their own thing. But it was still kind of the whole reason he stayed behind has been lost forever.
Anyway, this is, Steven Floats. Or as I call it, the Season 1 sort of episode.
Yeah, honestly, this reminded me of I was recently reading the DC Comics one of, I think it's Alien in America or American Alien, I can't remember specifically, but it's about Clark Kent's childhood, and he has a whole issue where he starts flying for the first time and he can't get down.
Huh.
And this is more or less what's happening. Steven is having his Clark Kent moment here, where he accidentally flies for the first time.
So, in this episode, Steven and the Crystal Gems finally arrive back home. But they end up finding, in, the breaking new dilemma this challenging series has, they find that all the food has gone bad. So as Steven tries to go to the Big Donut, he finds out that it's closed, but still pleads for a donut. He reveals that because a lawsuit was dropped, they can make their own donuts again, and he can get one first thing tomorrow. But in his excitement about this and being home again, he ends up activating his power of, I'm not sure how you describe it. It's almost like manipulating gravity, practically.
I think Garnet says at one point, like, Rose Quartz could control the speed of her fall
Yes.
or something. So he accidentally launches himself really high into the air. That part she doesn't necessarily explain. He can control how fast he falls, but it doesn't explain him launching himself into the stratosphere.
Yeah. But he can't control it as usual, so he ends up just stuck, slowly descending from up in the sky. Eventually, Amethyst, Garnet, and Pearl figure out where he is and spend some time with him while he's stuck up there, since they can also jump really high. Which leads to some funny stuff. Steven tries to get down quicker, but only does so because he is so disappointed he won't get his donut. Now, he's worried he's going to die from falling now, but he quickly realizes that, as per usual, it is controlled by his emotions, so he tries to think in happy thoughts. Eventually, he thinks of the Crystal Gems, who spent all that time with him, and he can fall without dying. And he's able to get to the Big Donut on time, because they open later on Sundays, and so there was no dilemma in the first place. Womp womp.
And the whole panic of discovering new superpowers that he can't control is swept aside in a glorious tide of donuts.
He's about to get the donut when he jumps into the ceiling out of joy. Whoops. And that was the episode.
Like, it's a fairly straightforward episode, plot-wise.
Yeah. Like, it very much feels like Welcome Back to Season 1, in a way.
We're just kind of a bit of relaxation after all the heavy-duty plot.
Yeah, basically.
I do kind of laugh when the gems are just like, is that Steven up there? Can Steven fly? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember that happening. Oh, no, wait, sorry, that was Lapis. I'm like, oh, no, wait, Steven can fly now. This is shocking.
That might be my new favorite, Amethyst line. The whole thing was hilarious.
And now Garnet's response then is just to leap off camera and make some crash and scream. She comes back with a phone and they're like, is that yours? Not important.
Yeah, I just wrote, the fuck does Garnet jump to?
Garnet jumped off to be a bad influence on our children. Don't steal phones, kids. Not even to communicate with your flying friends.
I actually had to wiki to see who it was, and it was the Pizza Dad. And I was like, okay.
Oh, that poor family.
It's especially funny because did Garnet already ruin their sign before?
Yeah, that was a whole episode, was that they wrecked the pizza family's place, and they were quite pissed about it.
Garnet just does not care.
No. Garnet has had no fucks to give for about 5,000 years now.
Honestly, first time when I watched it, I actually was confused about the earthquakes. Like, where did that happen? And I was like, oh, duh, the cluster, obviously.
Also, it's kind of cute the sequence where the gems keep jumping up to just hang out with him while he's slowly falling.
I love the mid-air checkers.
Yes. Although I spent part of that going, if you can jump up to him, you can grab him and drag him down with you, or at least try
And then
that.
they tried with a boat.
Yeah, and then they do try it, and they stick a boat on him, and it still doesn't work. Because, yeah, apparently, seriously, how far did he go? If he's falling all night, it's like 7 to 9 hours or something that he's falling.
Yeah. There was the most obvious joke in the universe, where the person in the airplane. And on your left, you can see a boy in the air. I think literally everyone ever has done a joke like that.
You can't not. It's like, I'm pretty sure you get banned from making cartoons ever again if you don't make that joke. And his whole his nightmare sequence about them having the first donut that they say is special.
And they feed it to a dog. And then I'll die.
Oh.
I just love that. I actually love the whole thing with Mayor Dewey. He's gonna feed it to starving he's gonna buy all the donuts and feed it to starving children.
Just the way everyone's drawn in that sequence is very cute too.
Yeah.
Little dot-faced people. And Steven has his revelation that my floating powers are tied to my emotions, like all my stupid powers.
Yeah, that was really funny.
It's like, it fucking sucks being a magical girl with all your emotions tied to your power.
I also really liked when he tried thinking of things that would make him happy, and it's like, Mom? And then he lifts the picture up. He's like, oh, those feelings are complicated.
I always love how the show handles Steven's complicated feelings about his mom, and just even in lighthearted ways like that, it's like, happiness? Mom? Oh, wait, no, too complicated. Find something else. And Garnet's just like, no, now, right about now, he's figuring out his powers, and he's going to land safely behind us. And Steven just fucking craters into the sand behind them.
I was kind of hoping he was going to like Mario 64 it, and his head would just dive into the sand and he'd be stuck.
And he does make it to his donut in time. So I also mentioned that I think it's adorable how often Steven discovers powers because of junk food.
Yeah.
Like, there's the, ice cream cookie, whatever it was on the first episode. There's, the juice he shares with Connie.
It's very weird thinking about it compared to, like, a superhero story.
I wish I could find superpowers every time I eat junk food.
But then it's like laser eyes, and you're like, God damn it. I have to fix that now.
Yeah, does Steven get heat vision next? Is that the next episode? Or do bullets bounce off?
I don't know anymore. If I have any problem with the episode, well, maybe not problem, it's more just like starting to notice its own cliches, is that they can only do this sort of, oh, how do my powers work story so many times when all of them are exactly the same. They all function the same way.
Like, they do kind of lampshade that with his, my powers are tied to my emotions. But even with your lampshading that doesn't necessarily excuse you doing the same thing again.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I'm all for Steven continuing to discover new powers, because he's still growing and aging, and still coming into his powers as a crystal gem. But, and I'm also not against every single power being tied to his emotions, because I mean, it's a magical girl convention, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad cliche. Especially since, the whole thing of gems is their physical form is tied to their mental state in certain ways. So, it makes sense for their powers to be manifested to do with their mental state, their emotional state, but they maybe need to start handling it in more varied ways.
I actually think it would be more interesting to see how, he handles that, being more self-aware about that and what that means.
Trying to actively invoke that would be interesting.
Actually, considering the amount of anime I've seen that have done this, it'd be really interesting to see if something just goes really, really wrong, if something really, really bad happens, and Steven just loses it.
That would be... I was about to say that would be horrifying, but it's not like they're scared of being utterly horrifying on this show. I also want to say the beginning of the episode just was very heartwarming, because it strongly emanates that I've been away and I'm so happy to be home feel. You know, just when he's going around the place again, and part of it is we haven't seen that house in so many episodes, so it is a little bit, oh, this is familiar, but also just Steven is so happy to be home. And it's not in the, you know, and especially not that it's, you know, he hated being away or he hated where he was, it's just that even if you liked traveling where you were going and you liked where you were, there's still just that nice feeling about being home.
You know, at the beginning of the Malachite episode, they did show that there was a warpad, you know, right near there, so, he could have visited at some point. Was he really with the whole time? He didn't really have to be. Like, he brought a sleeping bag, but he could have just slept at home, you know? I don't think it wouldn't take long to reach there.
I think he wanted to stay with his friends in his adorable caterpillar
Yes.
sleeping bag.
Well, who wouldn't? We should all get those.
It looked warm and cozy, too.
Yes. Also thinking about it, I also realized it's also a very obvious metaphor.
In fact, there's a caterpillar that is not yet transformed into a beautiful crystal gem butterfly.
Yes.
Fair enough.
That is our discussion about that metaphor.
Yeah, it's not a particularly subtle or elaborate metaphor, but that doesn't make it ineffective. If they manage to work some butterfly imagery into him, like, fully coming into his powers at some stage, especially since he does have a lot of imagery to do with flowers. Which either they continue to use that around Rose Quartz and everything to do with her and him.
Oh yeah, one last thing, that poor seagull.
Oh.
That poor, what?
I have nothing to say about that, I can only laugh.
It's like that episode where Mabel just ended up just punching a bird. And it's, though when Gravity Falls, it was kind of more disturbing because it was just twitching on the ground. Ugh.
Yeah, that was a little creepy.
I just love that in this show. That's like one of the most, like, overly optimistic, peace-loving, happy series. Let's have shameless violence of animals.
Yay, animal abuse. That's fun. Well, to be fair, I have no mercy for seagulls or pigeons.
No.
They're flying rat bastards who steal food. Like, will physically assault small children for food. Have you ever seen seagulls when some unwary person unwraps their chips in public? Like, French fries in the US, I guess, but chips are kind of I feel like chips and French fries are different
Not
things.
quite, but that's actually funny because there's actually this restaurant we've gone to in the past when we've gone on vacation, and there are always seagulls just all over the place around there, and you just go outside and people just throw french fries and just like the seagulls just like swarm the french fries.
Yeah, if you're unwary enough to unwrap your chips in public anywhere there's seagulls, they go full on the birds in the name of getting those chips. So I have no mercy for seagulls. There's too many of the bastards anyway. They're not exactly on the endangered list.
This series has a recurrent theme with seagulls. Like, first
Well, to be fair, they are
Yeah.
beach city, so, you know, seagulls at beach city.
I wonder if it's the same one. Like, the same one that carried away that watermelon Steven, and the same one that tried to attack Steven for his biscuit.
It's now reaping vengeance.
Oh, and they attacked the monster buddy, too.
I forget that.
The monster pet.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Well, actually, I think they attacked Steven and the monster stopped it. Or something.
Yeah. Seagulls are the worst. Except pigeons.
Not sure we have anything else to add. I'm surprised we had this much to add, even, honestly.
The moral of the story is seagulls suck.
Yes.